Claire, let's start with the Telegraph, shall we? Actually, a number of papers this morning. Digital ID cards could be issued to all Britons.
I mean, this is just such an abhorrent idea on every single level.
I knew you'd agree on this one, you two.
On a political level, on a sociable level, on an environmental level even. Who wants to know where everyone is? I'll tell you, Starmer, the granny embalmer. He wants to know every single aspect of your life. It's globalisation at its worst. You will be able to know, Big Brother, will be able to watch where you're going. And the other thing, this is what I was saying earlier, they seem to frame this, I know it was in the manifesto for the Labour Party to be elected, as was giving the votes to 16-year-olds and the rest of the rubbish that they put in their manifesto. And they actually, they're framing it, this is to make you safe. This is to make services easier. This is to make... No, it's not.
But, Claire, it is a plan to try and crack down on migrants working in the black economy.
But how... Look, you can only work if you've got a national insurance number. They say, the political elite would say, illegal migrants that are coming over cannot work. They're not able to work, and that's why they have to have the vociferous amounts of benefits that they get, perceived from charitable organisations or indeed from the government, OK? But it's not. It really isn't. It's so bad.
James, what do you make of the argument that if you've got nothing to fear, you've got nothing to hide?
Well, I think really it's a question that our political class have absolutely no new ideas. We rejected this as a country 20 years ago, the last time they tried to push it on us.
Was it the Labour Party that tried to push it on us?
It was Tony Blair, and they always come up with a different argument for why we really need to give up our basic liberties and carry around our papers all of the time. So it's either it will counter terrorism, as if terrorists are going to obey the ID cards law, or it's going to counter organised crime, again, as if organised crime can't get counterfeit documents, or it's going to somehow make it easier for us to access services, which I've never understood as an argument, or now it's because it's going to deal with the black market. None of these ID cards don't solve for any of these problems, but they do take away our freedoms. And the only thing I'll disagree with what Claire said, she said it was in the manifesto. It wasn't in the manifesto, and likewise when it wasn't in the 2005 manifesto and they tried to push it through, the Lords can stop it because it wasn't in the manifesto. So hopefully, if they do try to push it through with their 400 and whatever MPs, the House of Lords can try to stop it.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
There is a belief at the top of government that the public debate on this has shifted. I mean, clearly not with you two. But with migration and with people working in the gig economy and the black market, that this would be the only way to try and detract from that pull factor in Britain, that you could come here and work in the black market.
It clearly isn't the only way in which you can deal with that. They might think, they always try to find a new way to get in the same policy. So this might be the new way in which they try to do it. It doesn't mean that we can't make exactly the same arguments we've been making for many, many years about why we don't want these things and why they won't stop terrorism, they won't stop people working in the black market, they won't stop organised crime. What they will do is they will make our lives a little bit more annoying. We'll have to pay for them, and then there are potential sinister things about the state knowing where we are all of the time.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cybercriminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, James, bit of a headache for Rachel Reeves this morning. Borrowing costs reaching a 27-year high.
Yes, so the 30-year borrowing on 30-year gilts has gone up to the highest level since 1998, which is exactly the opposite kind of news that you want as the Chancellor ahead of a budget that's going to come in November. They thought when they came in that they would magically find in the Treasury this big button that the Tories couldn't find because it was in a back cupboard somewhere that said growth. And what they would do with this big button is they would sort of press it and then bang, the economy would zoom away and everything would be fine. The problem is they've come in without really any kind of plan. There are ways in which you can both boost tax revenues and reduce recurrent expenditure and boost investment. But you need to have a very well worked out plan to do so. And they don't, which is why she's being buffeted from fiscal event to fiscal event with less and less headroom, doing something which basically saves things for a few months, but doesn't do anything to support the long term. So if you look at the last one, the big tax increase was on national insurance for employers. Now, I would like to see more taxes on big business. I would like to see more taxes on the super rich and wealth. This is precisely the worst tax that you could raise that relates to business because it's a tax on jobs. If you want to expand the economy, you want to expand the tax base, you need to make it easier for people to be employed, not harder to be employed. So they've basically not got a strategy. It's showing up in the markets and there needs to be a big change.
What impact do you think the shift from Duncan Jones and Manouche, who was the Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, will have on Rachel Reeves' position then?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say because you can't see inside the mechanism. I do think they need to set up a different system for economic decision-making because either you have what we had with Blair and Brown, which is the Chancellor is extremely powerful and therefore has advisors covering basically every area of policy and sort of operates how the Prime Minister would in other countries' systems where they have a president. Or you do it like we do foreign defence and security policy, where you have a setup where the Prime Minister is still at the top, but then the different departments feed in different ways. So then the Treasury would feed in always saying, well, what about sound money? But then you have someone else feeding in saying, well, yes, but we need to improve investment in the economy and so on. I've not seen that they've done that. They've just changed some of the figures.
Well, there is a suggestion, of course, that the Chancellor's authority has been undermined by this reshuffle inside Number 10, particularly around economic advisors getting closer to the Prime Minister.
Well, there was an economic advisor. They went. Now there's a new one. I think I'm not sure it means that they've been undermined. It's hard to read those tea leaves. But clearly, the decision-making that has been made for the economy being driven solely by the Treasury, and that could be, honestly, it doesn't really matter who is the Chancellor if they're not going to put their imprint on it. The Treasury officials say, this is what we want to do. The Treasury's mandate is too narrow relative to the whole set of economic management that we need. So if they're going to have a system that works better, it's going to need more than just one new advisor in Number 10. They need to set it up differently.
Claire, let's take a look at the Telegraph, shall we? And energy drinks to be banned for under 16s.
Yeah, do you know the best way of doing it? Tell a 16-year-old or younger that it's really good for you. Then they won't touch them. Then they won't touch them. Or better still, start drinking them as an adult yourself, which I can't recommend because I've never actually tried them.
No, I don't.
I don't see the aplomb of it. I don't see the draw to an energy drink, says someone who woke up quite late this morning. I cut my jib with black coffee. But anyway, it's great that the government are trying to tackle this. I think everyone has known for years that these are really inherently awful, really bad things to, raise your levels of sugar so high in your body. That you've got many things. You've got Monster, you've got Red Bull, lots of these different drinks that people actually drink on a night out as well as a mixer.
So it's a problem for the government will be enforcing this because some large supermarkets voluntarily do this anyway, ban energy drinks for under 16s, but the local corner shop isn't at the moment. So enforcement might become
Well, it's not. I mean, you do it for booze, you do it for cigarettes. I mean, of course, you'll get around it in the same way that some kids who are younger than 18 are also able to buy alcohol sometimes, but it doesn't mean they can do it all of the time and that it's really easy. And if we think that these products are bad for kids, which I think
we all then consent of that.
Yes, which we all do. The idea of restricting them seems very sensible. Yes, there might be some tweaks around the edges about the best way in which you can make the maximum level of enforcement, but the basic idea, these are bad, they should go.
OK. James, Claire, thanks very much indeed. You'll be back with us in about 45 minutes, going through all the top stories of the day. Let us know what you think on any of those stories we've been discussing. gbnews.com.